youngest son was Mr. Charming, Mr. Wonderful. We had a very close bond from the minute of conception, I used to say. It was really good. We had lots of fun together. As he grew, that bond continued. I knew at some point in his teenage years that he was drinking. One teacher in particular thought that my son was smoking marijuana, and he and I had this talk, my son and I had this talk about drugs, and I was convinced that he was not smoking marijuana any longer or drinking. As years went on, I found out that wasn't true. His drinking increased and his drug abuse became more than marijuana, and now this is going into years later, and his behavior was changing. He wasn't this wonderful, charming person that he had been for years and years. At this point in his life, the addiction was taking over, and he ended up in jail after jail. It started to become a joke in our family. And he would send me letters from jail, and they didn't feed him, and he was starving, and he needed money. I got that same letter over and over again of how sorry he was, and this will be the last time, and everything in my being said, not to do this, but I did it anyway. And yes, I was putting money in his account, and I would do that. I'm trying to be there for him, and I'm struggling. I'm struggling with my health. I am just totally not the person I ever thought I was or thought I would become. And I gained 70 pounds. I could barely walk. I said, "Oh God, please help me now. I have to surrender myself and him to you because I can't do this any longer." I had another letter. This time, I didn't read this letter. It's the same thing all the time. So I just wrote a Post-it note and said to him, "I'm not opening any more of your letters. I'm done. I can't live like this anymore. And for you to come back home, I need you to have 2 years of sobriety, paying child support for your daughter, and have a job." I put that Post-it note on his letter, put it in an envelope, and mailed it back to him unopened.
2 days later, I had received an envelope back, and it was my letter, unopened. My initial thought on that was, how dare you? How dare you stop giving me money and stop being there for me? See, I had taken it that she's no longer there for me.
And he was gone for almost a year. And every time I would hear on the news that someone was in a motel and there was gunfire and and that person was killed, I just knew it was him. I just knew it was him. I come home one day and there's an odd name on my caller ID. And I thought, could this be? And he's like, "Mom?" I'm like, "Yeah."
I said, "Mom, I'm turning myself into recovery. Just want you to know that I'm here at the Union Gospel Mission, and I'm safe, and I think I'm gonna like it here."
And I was like, hallelujah. If you ever would have said to me that my son would have ended up in the Christ Recovery Center, I'd have bet you $1 million he never would have went to the Christ Recovery Center. That was God working, and the miracle started.
I've developed a relationship with Christ, which is an amazing feeling to know that No matter what I do or where I go, he's with me and guides me.
Today, my son Brian has 3 years of sobriety, and I couldn't be more elated that the mission has given him a purpose in life. He is financially getting back on his feet. He's made amends. My relationship with Brian is back to where it started. It is like we can talk about anything. We have no lies, no secrets, and we're very close, and he just makes me laugh. For him to know Jesus and to know that God is there for him, that is a miracle. My son Brian is back home.